Hello students, welcome to our class. So today we continue our third topic for the standard 8 subject is general science. So third topic is the force and pressure. In that lesson we complete up to the point buoyant force. Here we see also the how the magnitude of the buoyant force is depend on the two factors. Okay, so here we continue from this point, that is buoyant forces depends on the two factor, that is volume of the objects and the density of the liquid. Okay, so here we see the three factors which are related to the buoyant force, and by observing these forces magnitude of the buoyant force we can identify either the objects which is kept in the liquid, either it will be float on the water, and when it will be sink inside the water, and when it will be float inside the liquid. So for these three conditions are there. First condition is that means again, if we ask the question like that, how it is decided means how can we decide that the objects, if we see these two objects, okay, how can we decide the objects left in the liquid will get means the objects which are kept inside this liquid, what happened related to these objects, either it will be sink inside the liquid like that, or either it will float on the surface of the water like that, either it will be float on the water surface. Okay, so here in that case we can see either it will be float inside the this water surface of water, inside this water. Okay, so here how can we identify all these three conditions? So here the first condition, if the buoyant force or the, if we compare the buoyant force or magnitude of the buoyant force with the weight of that objects, by comparing the weight and the buoyant force we can identify all these three things. First condition is that like that the objects floats, when the objects floats, if the buoyant force is larger than its weight. If we see this example, in this example here what happened, this object will get float on this water. Why? Because the weight of these objects and the magnitude of the buoyant force which is act on that object is have a different magnitude, means it is higher, buoyant force is higher than the weight of this object. So in that case what happen, this object will get float on the water surface. Okay, for the second condition, when the object will sink inside the water, when, if we see this example of the iron nail, for this example what happened, if the weight of this iron nail, see here, weight of this iron nail is higher than the magnitude of the buoyant force which is act on this iron nail, what happened, the magnitude of iron nail is higher than the magnitude of buoyant force. So due to this what happened, if there is a higher weight of the objects than the buoyant force, then this object will get sink into the water, that is the at the bottom of the water surface. Then we see in the third condition, in third condition what happened, in third condition the objects floats inside the water when there is a equal amount of the object's weight and the buoyant force. So here if we see this example, here what happened, this water bottle get floats inside the water. Why? Because the buoyant force acting on that objects and the weight of this object have a equal magnitude. So due to this what happened, this object will get float inside the water. So in these three conditions, by using this magnitude of the buoyant force and weight of that objects, by observing that we can identify either the objects will sink to the bottom of the liquid, or it will be float on the water, or it will be float inside the water. So out of these three, which forces are unbalanced? So here if we see in first and two condition, if there is a magnitude of force is unequal, that is magnitude of force and weight is unequal, so in that case what happen, the force applied, that is the gravitational force and buoyant force are have unequal magnitude for the first two conditions. So here first two conditions having the unbalanced force. And in the last condition, that is the third condition, here what happened, the gravitational force and buoyant force have equal magnitude, and due to this uh, the bottle will be float inside the water. Okay, so we continue our next point, that is the Archimedes principle. For this we see the activity, that is in your textbook they gives us a try this. Okay, so here take a long rubber band and cut it. Here we see this activity. Take a long rubber band and cut it at one point. At one of its end, tie a clean washed stone or a 50-gram weight as shown in the figure 3.11. So we see this activity by this seeing these images. Okay. So here for this activity you should have to take a rubber band. Okay. And first you cut this rubber band, and at the one end of this rubber band you tie a clean washed stone. Instead of that you can also use the 15-gram weight. Okay, so there if how we tie this stone, that is also they gives us in this image. In that way you tie this 15-gram weight or the clean wash stone to the one end of this rubber band. Okay, so for this we see these images, then you understand. So here we take this rubber band. Okay, take a long rubber band, and here we cut this rubber band to this point, and after cutting at the one of its end tie a clean wash stone or a 50 weight as shown in this figure. So if you see this image, then in that way you should tie the clean wash stone. Instead of the stone you also use the 15-gram weight. Okay, so after this hold the other end of the rubber band and make a mark there. So here take this rubber band having a weight at one end of this. So here hold this in this way, hold this other end. Here you take the other end in your hand and hold this rubber band, and here holding in that way. So here mark up to the upper surface of this stone as like this. Okay, here you should mark, and after that keep the stone hanging in air. At that height you should keep the stone as like see in the figure. In that way keep the stone which is hanging in the air, and here you measure the length of rubber band from the stone to the mark made earlier. So here after tying the stone you make a mark here. Okay, you make a mark here, then keeping like this you should note down the length of this rubber band from the stone. Here from this to this, note down the length of this rubber band. In next step, take a water in a pot and hold the rubber band at such a height that the stone sinks in it. So here in which way you should you should sink or you should hold this rubber band in such a height. Up to that height means in that way this stone will be sink into the water. If we see this figure, in that way, see here, in that way you should sink this water inside the water at certain height as you see in this figure. Okay, in that way you should do this. So here again measure the length of the rubber band up to the mark. So here after doing this, then again up to which part the this stone will get sink into the water. So up to that height you should measure the height, means from that point, from this to this. In second step you measure the length of this rubber band. At first step you measure like this. Okay, at first step the stone is at this place. Okay, at first condition you measure this length of rubber band, and in second step after filling the bucket with water you measure the length of this rubber band. After doing these two activities, what will you observe, means what happened with the length of this rubber band? So after doing this, the length this another length is shorter than the earlier length. We measure the length in two ways. Okay, in first way you measure the length from in the empty bucket. Okay, the stone kept in the empty bucket, and in another step you measure the length of the this rubber band by keeping this stone or seeing this stone into the water. So in that two condition, what happened, the another length, the second length is shorter as compared to the earlier length. Okay, it is shorter than this first length. So why this is happen, while dipping the stone, what happen, when we dip the stone into the water, what happen, length of the stretched rubber gets slowly reduced. Stretched rubber gets slowly reduced. Why? And it minimum when it sinks completely. When we sink this stone inside the water, then what happen, this length of stretched rubber band, you know rubber band, the ability have rubber band that is stretching. So when we tie the rubber band, this rubber band gets stretched. But when we keep such type of stone inside the water, the length of this rubber band get reduced. Why? Because this stretching of this rubber band, length of this stretching rubber band get reduced. Why? Because there is a tension which is produced in this rubber band, it will be get reduced due to there is a reduce in the weight of this stone which is sink into the water. So why this is happen, that is length of the stretcher rubber gets slowly reduced. Why this length of stretcher rubber get slowly reduced and it become minimum when it sinks completely. So what could be the reason for shorter the length of the rubber band in the water? So why this is happen, why the length of this rubber band get reduced when this stone kept into the sink into the water? So this is because, or also we see, when the stone is sunk in the water, a buoyant force, this is happened due to buoyant force which is act on the stone in the upward direction. So due to this, what, weight of the stone get reduced, and due to less in weight, the rubber band, length of this rubber band also get reduced. So see this image. Here what happened, when the stone sink into the water, then what happened, buoyant force acts on the upward direction. We know buoyant force act on the upward direction. So here, due to this buoyant force, what happened, the weight of the stone will get reduced, therefore the force which act on it in the upward direction is effectively reduced. So here there are two force which is acting in the opposite direction. That is, one is the buoyant force which is act in the upward direction, and another force which is act by the stone in the downward direction. So here what happened, due to buoyant force, the force which is act in the downward direction will get reduced. That is, the force acting, the force acting on this stretched rubber get reduced, and due to this less in reduce in the force in the downward direction. So due to this, the weight of the stone will get reduced, and due to this, length of this stretcher rubber band also get reduced. So how much is the magnitude of the buoyant force? So in that case, how much buoyant force is applied on that stone? How can we calculate the magnitude of the buoyant force which is applied on the objects or stone which is sink inside the water? So all the answers of this question, that is, if we either it is same for the all liquids, if the magnitude of the buoyant force acting on the objects which are sink into the water. So in all the cases or all the liquids, either it is same, that is the buoyant force applied on that object. So here we see these questions. Also another question is the buoyant force of the equal magnitude for all objects? Means here also you can see the questions, which questions are there arises during this activity. The questions are, I again explain these questions. See here, the questions are like this. Wait a minute. Yeah. So here we see the questions. What could be the reason for the shorter length of the rubber band in the water? Also the another question, that is, how much is the magnitude of the buoyant force? Is it the same for all the liquids? buoyant force of equal magnitude is the buoyant force of equal magnitudes for all objects. So all these questions, answers of the questions will be get in the next point. Which point? If we see the next point, that is here we see all these questions. Okay, which questions from this? How much is the magnitude of the buoyant force? Then is it same for all the liquids? The buoyant force of the equal magnitude for all objects? The answers to these questions are embedded in the Archimedes principle. Means if we see all the questions which are arises in the above activity, so answer of all the questions are found in the Archimedes principle. So here first we have to know what is the Archimedes principle, then we find out the answers of all the questions. Okay, so here they gives us the Archimedes principle. Okay, this principle states that when an object is partially or fully immersed in a fluid, a force of buoyancy acts on it in the upward direction. So this force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the objects. Okay, so here what is the principle? The principle is like that when an object is partially or fully immersed in a fluid, means fluid either it is a gas or liquid. When any object is partially means half, in halfway, that is half part of the objects will be immersed in the liquid and half part is above the liquid, and fully immersed, that is it is completely dipped into the fluid. So in that case what happen? The force of buoyancy acts it in the upward direction. In that case, what is the direction of buoyant force? It acts in the upward direction of that object. So this force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. So how we calculate the magnitude? So it can be calculated by the weight of the objects which is, or the weight of the fluid which is displaced, or which is which having remove or which change their place by when we dip the objects partially or fully inside the fluid. At that time what happen? Some amount of fluid get displaced by its place, and by using this amount which is displaced by the objects, this amount you can calculate the how much buoyant force is applied on that object. So in that way we can find out the answers of above the all the questions. Okay, so this concept also we study by using the some images. That is, we see the questions that the answers to these questions are embedded in the, embedded means we can find out these answers by using Archimedes principle. Okay, so the use of Archimedes principle is very wide. So this principle is used in various way in our day to day life. It have very uh, large use. Okay, so the principle states that, what is the principle? I again explain. When an object is partially or fully immersed into the fluid, as like seen in the image. In that image we see this object is immersed in a fluid. So in that case what happen? A force of a buoyancy acts on it on the upward direction. So here direction of the force, that is buoyant force, in which direction apply? That is in the upward direction. So this force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the object. So here we, if we see, when this stone is dipped in that liquid, then what happen? The level of the liquid get increased. So by how much length or how much liquid get displaced by this object? By calculating this weight of this liquid which is displaced by this object. So with the help of this we can calculate the amount of the buoyant force. Okay, the force, this force is equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by that object. So here explain, we can also use this Archimedes principle to the above examples or experiments which are see in this lesson. Okay, for the previous concepts. So here we see the in which space or in which faculties this Archimedes principle is used. So here we see this principle has been used in the construction of ships and submarines. Okay, because we have to know ships have a large weight. So by using this principle, The ships which have massive or large mass, it can be float on this water by using this principle. Okay. Also submarines, that is submarines also partially these are float inside the waters. Okay, so for floating inside the water also by using this principle these can be designed. So another use, that is the instruments such as lactometer, hygrometer, these are also based on this principle, that is weighing machine. Okay, hygrometer means weighing machine, lactometer, these instruments are also constructed by using this principle, that is the Archimedes principle. Okay, so here we see the density of substance and relative density. Okay,